Hi, it is Sarah with Yoga for Classrooms, and I am here today with another mindful moment. This is our Eat Smart mindful moment. It comes from our Be Well category in our Yoga for Classrooms activity cards, also in our mini on the go Yoga for Classrooms activity cards. And the Be Well category is all about ways that we can be well. And so today's is going to be about eating well, because that is a part of being our best selves, to making sure that we are well, both physically and mentally. So today, this mindful moment doesn't include any movement. All you have to do is listen along and think about the things that I talk about as I share with you our Be Well mindful moment. So you can sit in your desk rest position, meaning that your feet are on the floor in front of you and your arms are on your desk with your head resting on your arms if that's comfortable. Or you can stay in your seated mountain with your back straight and your shoulders back and your head tall. Either way, be in a comfortable position where you can listen to my words. I'm going to stay in that seated mountain because I really like this strong foundational centering, focusing posture when I'm trying to learn and do my best. When you eat, what you eat affects your physical and your mental health. Did you know that? What you eat affects both your physical health and your mental health. Your physical well-being, your mood, your behavior, and your ability to learn. What you eat impacts all of those things. We talk about different categories of food. The USDA puts food into different categories, including grains, vegetables, fruits, dairy, and protein. The U.S. National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute also suggests that we start thinking about whether things that we eat are go foods, slow foods, or whoa foods. Can you say those with me? Go foods, slow foods, or whoa foods. All right, let's talk about what that means. Go foods are those healthy foods. They're good to eat anytime. Some examples are skim and low fat milk, cottage cheese, yogurt, vegetables, fruit, whole grain breads, and unsweetened cereals. Extra lean beef, chicken, fish, beans, things like that. So think for a minute about some of the go foods that you enjoy. Again, that might be cottage cheese, yogurt, vegetables or fruits, whole grain breads or unsweetened cereals, maybe meats like beef, chicken, fish, or beans. Think to yourself, what are your favorite go foods? I know for me, broccoli, bananas, and black beans are coming to mind. I love broccoli, I love bananas, and I love black beans. Now, some slow foods, let's talk about what those are. So, we know what go foods are. We can eat those pretty much any time because they're really healthy for us. Slow foods are the foods that aren't off limits, but they shouldn't be eaten every single day. These are things like waffles and pancakes, white breads, taco shells, processed cheese, some beefs and hams and fattier fishes, peanut butter and other nut butters, frozen fruit bars, maybe fig bars, juices, and some of those vegetable and olive oils that we cook our foods in. So those are slow foods, meaning it's okay to eat them sometimes. But we don't want them to be the only things we eat. So you can think of that as you can eat them, but just slow it down a little, not quite so much, right? Now, our last category is our whoa foods. Can you guess what that means? Yep, if you guessed it, you're right. Those are the ones we need to really try to limit. They're the least healthy, and we need to think, whoa, before we eat too many of those. These foods are the most likely to cause health problems, especially if we eat them all the time. So, examples are all those fast and processed foods like fried foods, most of the packaged snacks that we eat, candy, ice cream, cakes, cookies, pies, chocolate, donuts, biscuits, butter, full fat cheese, cream cheese, all those foods with color additives and preservatives and lots of sugar. They're the things that are pretty yummy, right? But we need to really, try not to eat them all the time because they can really cause health problems and they are not as healthy for our bodies. They don't help us grow and give us all the nutrients that we need. So, what we say is just try to limit those as much as you can. Make sure you're eating plenty of those go foods we talked about, eating some of those slow foods, and trying to keep the whoa foods to a minimum. So maybe tonight you could talk to your parents or the people you live with about the things you eat and how you could increase more of your go foods and maybe decrease some of those whoa foods. Sometimes small changes can make a big difference in the types of food that we consume and the types of food that we put into our body. Maybe even next week, you could go to the grocery store with the person in your family that does the shopping and help find more of those go foods and maybe leave some of those whoa foods on the shelf. That can really help you improve your choices. And you know what's extra important? Building good habits now. What you eat now will probably be what you eat when you're older. So, building those good habits is a great way to be more mindful about what we're putting in our body, making sure that we're being the healthiest version of ourselves. One last tip before we go. Next time you try eating mindfully. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you. Remember, being mindful means paying close attention to what you're doing at any given moment. So, eating mindfully means to pay attention to the process of eating. Mindful eaters sit down to eat, they eat slowly, they chew completely, and it helps them digest their food properly. This provides your body and your mind all the necessary nutrients that you need. Mindful eaters also choose those healthier foods, those go foods we talked about. And they notice when they've had enough to eat. I always try to pay attention to what my tummy's telling me, to stop eating when I'm full and not keep eating just because there's food left on my plate. So, being a mindful eater is a great way to eat smart. So, maybe try that out next time you're eating a meal. Eat it a little slower, pay a little more attention to what you're eating, what it feels like in your mouth, what it tastes like in your mouth. Maybe even think about where it came from. And that is the way to be a mindful eater, someone who eats smart. So I challenge you this week to eat more go foods and eat them more mindfully. I'm just about to eat lunch and I am going to participate in that own challenge myself. So good luck and remember that part of keeping both our physical and our mental health in check is eating smart. Thanks for joining me for this mindful moment and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.